Today's amazing adventure takes place in downtown Chattanooga, where we're going to celebrate 3 amazing years of my YouTube channel by going on a quite aquatic adventure. Hello my friends, Mr. Nomad Ben here. So we are going to go on an awesome adventure today. I've been wanting to do this thing for quite some time, and it is 3 years of my YouTube channel I'm celebrating today, but of course I always have to come up with something amazing and a little bit epic to celebrate the milestone of 3 years of my channel. And I thought, would be actually a great way, because I started this channel Labor Day of 2020, and Labor Day weekend really. And I decided to do something I had never done before in living here in the Chattanooga, Dalton area. And I've been here for so long, I have never gone on the Chattanooga Ducks before. So we're going to go on a little bit of a hybrid of a car/boat ride. And we're going to go in the Tennessee River. A great way to end the summer and enter the fall and celebrate my milestone. I'm really excited to check this out. It's hot, and I am just really excited to go into this ride. So I'm inviting you to come with me, celebrate, and enjoy the Chattanooga Duck Tours. I'm not going to be able to get every single thing because it's a pretty long tour, but I'll definitely get some fun things as we go on the river, and then we'll go grab a bite to eat right after. And here we go.
It's all about where you've been, Nomad Ben. Tell us all about the finer points of living in this traveling. Food, beer, history, nature quest. Every corner of the song to the great Midwest. Tell us all about where you've been, Nomad Ben.
Right over here is one of the Southern Belle's really historic Chattanooga steamboat. We got one of the duck tour boats right here. This one's called the Daffy Duck. I'm gonna gotta find out which boat I'm taking. My boat departs in about 25 minutes. And we got another boat over here of the duck tours. This one's called Sergeant York. Go ahead and check this out. That is really cool. It's like a kind of shark ordeal going on here. So I gotta go find out what to do and hop on and get into this water. So it looks like you do check into the Chattanooga riverboat of the Southern Belle in this direction. Definitely a goal of mine to actually go on a true steamboat ride, but we have to go in there and check in. And definitely check this out here. So welcome y'all. Got to the Southern Boat. The Chattanooga Ducks is what we're doing today. The bar and grill and gift shop and Mayor's Mansion Inn, all in different directions over here. So we're gonna go inside and get to the gift shop and tickets into the Southern Belle. Also duck tour entrance. We're inside the Southern Belle right now, but this is actually just the shop portion of things. There is a separate boat that takes you on tours here. But after we get off the duck ride, we will definitely kind of wander around and document a little bit of the Southern Belle experience. But as you check in, unfortunately this is not a souvenir poker chip, but this is your ticket in. But you do get a complimentary moon pie as well. So yeah, you get to enjoy the moon pie and get on the boats. Alright, got my moon pie and ready to go. And it looks like I'm taking the Daffy Duck Tour boat, getting into the Great Tennessee River. I am very excited for this. I think I said that enough. Well, living up north back in the day when I was a kid, I've always seen the duck rides at the Wisconsin Dells, and I think I've been on one. My memory doesn't serve me right if I've ever done a duck ride. If I did, it was definitely when I was a little kid, but if I haven't, then this might be my first duck ride ever. But this is definitely my first Chattanooga duck ride. So I am pretty excited to experience something touristy and local here, and I've been here for 10 years, and I've said before, people that are locals don't know as much where they live, but it's always the tourists that know more. So I get to be kind of a tourist again. But basically, I'm just kind of a local tourist. Actually, I digress. It looks like I'm actually going on the Sergeant York Chattanooga Duck Ride. So I get to have the little bit of the shark teeth kind of ordeal. But man, this is going to be so much fun. All right, making my way up the duck, right by that little mural right there. All right, caution, watch your head. There's a spot right there where I can sit back here.
And those 4 letters, that is a military acronym from World War II. Each of the letters means something. The first letter is a production year. The letter D stands for 1942. That is the first year GMC started making these for the military. And it's not just for this. Anything that GMC made for the very first time for the military in 1942, the first letter is always D. That's just a year, okay? So 1942. Second letter is a description. You might drive an SUV. Same thing. U stands for utility. K and W get weird. And to be honest, most of you are too young or you're not from here. The only people that will know what K and W may mean are the old farts, like me and him, okay? That's it. The rest of you are just too young. So I'm really just talking to you. So from the early 1970s to the early 1980s, Chrysler was making this piece of junk front-wheel drive car called Reliant K car.
Oh.
Who remembers the K car?
We had
You had one. The old people. That's the only ones.
1987.
Was it the piece of junk, wasn't it?
Until you paid for it.
For whatever reason, in the automobile industry, the letter K means front-wheel drive. The letter W is twin rear-wheel axle, 4-back tires. From the factory, it was painted on the side, D-U-K-W, and everybody in the military got ducks. The Army, Navy, Marines, the Coast Guard got ducks. They would paint numbers on the side of it. So, for example, this could be D-U-K-W-17. If you were in the Army and someone started shooting at you and things got hairy and you were in a hurry, son, going to get D-U-K-W-17, go, 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 go. When you say those letters really fast and those numbers really fast, it's almost like a tongue twister. So they didn't use the letters. They just turned it into a word so they could say it faster. If you read the word and it was spelled D-U-K-W, how would you pronounce that word? Duckwa. Like you're in France. Duckwa. Apparently in the military there's a silent W. How would you read the word D-U-K? Duck. Yeah. This truck goes in the water. The name duck is a coincidence. It has nothing to do with what it does, which is ironic. I mean, it works out perfect. It was called a duck because of the letters painted on the side of it. Now, GMC built about 20,000 of these things from 1942 to 45. Some of the ducks they built went to Europe. Some of the ducks went to the South Pacific. At the end of the war, they did not bring any of them back home. They just left them where they were. Excuse me. But they didn't take all the ducks overseas. It doesn't matter where you go in the nation. If there's duck tours, and they're old-looking ducks, they were all built in the 40s during World War II. They never got shipped overseas. We have 5 ducks that we can use on tours. And you know, if you had a 2010 Ford Mustang and a 2011 Ford Mustang, you know the differences. Every year there's differences in the body. Every duck we have were made in different years, and we know at least a year they were on the minor changes that they made as they make them. This duck, we know a lot. We bought this duck in 2007 from a private individual in Arkansas. When it showed up on the flatbed trailer right here, this guy had left the original data plate for this vehicle. Wow. That is very rare to have that original data plate for the World War II vehicle. It's so rare, we took it off and it's in the safe right now, the data plate. We know exactly when. June 1944. And where? Detroit, Michigan. We know that. Now, little side story, chasing rabbits. In 1941, my grandfather was a Baptist preacher, a little small country church above Knoxville, Tennessee, in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. And in 1941, he told his pregnant wife that he had a calling from the Lord to go fight Japan. And his pregnant wife drove him from the foothill of Campbell County, Tennessee, to Knoxville, Tennessee, and he joined the Army. And that afternoon, he was on a train going to Fort Hood, Texas for boot camp. For 2.5, 3 years, he was in the Philippines fighting Japanese. When he got back home to Knoxville in 1945, my dad was about 2.5, 3 years old. When my papa left to go fight, who stayed home to raise that little baby by herself? She did. Who worked in the garden and in the fields by herself? She did. In some cities, who worked in the factories? You remember that poster from World War II, the lady in the overalls, and she had a big, yeah, even going to making a muscle? Her nickname was Rosie the Riveter. The summer of 1944 in Detroit, Michigan, over 90% of the people on the line building things for GMC were women. We don't know this for sure, but I can almost guarantee this stuff was built by a whole bunch of women. And in my opinion, that is the only reason it still works. Y'all done a great job. You did great. Now that's why it's high maintenance, but it still works. Purpose vehicle, named by the Army. The acronym for General Purpose Vehicle was GP and then a number. General Purpose. If you read the word GP, how would you say it? Jeeps. 1946, they were making Jeeps for civilians. They wanted World War II veterans to buy them, so they kept the nickname Jeeps, spelled it out the way we spell it. They came out with civilian Jeeps. If you're old enough, you remember in high school, the cool people had CJs? Civilian Jeep is where CJ came from. The truck they turned into ducks was a CCKW. You can't make a word out of those letters, so the guys in the Army, they nicknamed it based on its weight. It weighed 2.5 tons. Does anyone know what a deuce and a half is? What we're sitting on is a floating deuce and a half, just a cargo truck. GMC would take this truck back to a factory. They make the front of the truck kind of look like a boat. They'd get a propeller and jam it in the back of the truck and drive it off in the water. If it could float for 10 minutes, they kept it. If it did float, I guess they would swim back to the beach and pray about it and start all over with another one. When we get a duck, we always change 3 things about every duck we get. First thing we change are the brakes. We pull off the original vacuum-powered drum brakes and replace that with disc brakes so it's safer driving through town. Then we change the transmission from a 5-speed manual to an automatic so it's easier to drive through town. But the big change we do is the engine. We pull out that original GMC 270 and drop in a Ford 300. The biggest reason we do that, parts. Those old engines are great, but if they break down and you don't have the part already, you get on the internet and search. With this Ford 300, if it breaks down, mechanics go to O'Reilly's and buy things off the shelf. So we can save time and money with this modern engine. Besides those things, stuff here on the ground, all this stuff is original. Once we get in the river, I'll tell you what all this stuff does. There's the aquarium, opened up in '92. Has anyone not been to the Tennessee Aquarium? Anyone not been? Are you going? Are you going to the aquarium?
Gotta go later.
Later? Okay. It changed everything about Chattanooga. Before the Tennessee Aquarium opened, Chattanooga was a huge industrial city. There were factories and foundries all over downtown because it was easy getting the stuff they made out of Chattanooga, either on the river or on the railroads. 1968, where the Tennessee Aquarium is, that was a factory site. And all along the waterfront back there, and for 5 miles, mostly down this road to the Full Lookout Mountain, there were almost 100 factories in downtown Chattanooga. This was a huge middle-class town. Everyone had good jobs. It had its bad things. In 1965, the life expectancy for men across the nation was around 66 years old. In Chattanooga, 57 years old. Men died about 10 years younger in Chattanooga than the national average, and they would die usually from some type of lung disease. The city of Chattanooga sits in the bottom of a bowl. We are surrounded by mountains. Can you imagine with almost 100 factories in the bottom of this bowl and the air pollution? It'd go up so high, but not high enough to cross over the mountains, and it would just sink back down in the valley. The locals in the 60s, the locals called their hometown Smoke City because of the pollution. It was terrible. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, first big regulation the EPA gets through Congress was the Air Quality Act, and that goes into effect in '72. Factories across the nation had to start lowering pollution. Here in Chattanooga, the factories did a lot. The big thing they did to lower pollution is they made less stuff. They lowered production. A lot of these local factories would go from 3 shifts of work to 2 shifts of work. Lowered production, lowered pollution. He lost his 3rd shift job and moved to the mountains of Georgia and started growing that little weed out in his backyard to sell.
Still do.
They lowered pollution this much. They kept lowering production. By 1978, these factories had cut production so much that the factory as a business started to lose money. And when a business starts to lose money, what's normally the next thing that happens? It closes. Imagine this happening where y'all live. In 1968, in downtown Chattanooga, there were almost 100 factories. In 1978, there were 6. In those few years, almost every factory in Chattanooga left. All those folks lost jobs. They left. The supporting businesses lost their job. Everybody was gone. This became a ghost town. I graduated high school here in '84. Back in the '80s, you'd come downtown on a Friday night, lay in the street right here and go to sleep. You wouldn't see a car until Monday. There was nothing down here. That changed in '92 when they opened up the Tennessee Aquarium. When they opened up the aquarium, it was a magnet that brought you and everybody else back downtown Chattanooga. There was things about Chattanooga that's changed because of the aquarium that you can't tell. Every building through here, the first 2 floors are like a business of some sort. Above that's apartments. People want to live in downtown Chattanooga now. I am 57 years old. It is not my age that lives in downtown Chattanooga. It's the 30-year-olds. It's the guys with the man buns and skinny jeans and man purses. They drink Angry Orchard or iced coffee. It's the and ride scooters to work. It's that crowd, like this guy right here. Look, him. See? He doesn't have a man bun, but he's a millennial. Famous building. You'll see some names and some posters here in a minute that you might recognize. But the reason the Reed House is so famous is this poster behind the lamppost. Haunted Room 311. The Reed House is really haunted, and that lady's about to spend the night there. And she's going to get scared when she starts hearing the weird things in her room at night. That might be her husband, but it could be the ghost, okay? Now, the Reed House has free ghost tours. There's not a schedule. It's as needed. I'm not going to steal the tour guide's thunder because they work for tips, but the gist of the ghost story, in the 1880s, a local husband found his wife in room 311 with somebody else and chopped her head off. The ghost of the Reed House is the headless woman. On the ghost tour, they go in much more detail, tell you how this lady and other men met originally and how he came back to Chattanooga to find her. And I know somebody's head gets cut off, but it's kind of a romantic story in a weird sense. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, it's a free tour of a beautiful hotel. The tour guides do great jobs weaving the stories of all those other people you might have recognized with their names. It takes about 45 minutes. It's a really, really good tour. I'm just too old. Okay, here's the boat ramp. Big bump. Big bump.
There we go. Get into the water. Oh boy.
There's the water. Now, I've worked here for 18 years. I've been up and down this boat ramp a million times, and I've done this every way you can imagine. I've been down the ramp so fast before, I was afraid. It's my first summer especially. Because I'm going to ask you, you want to go fast or slow? And everybody says fast. And I've punched it, and I've gotten halfway down the ramp so fast that I've realized I don't have enough brakes to slow down. The only one that's ever gotten hurt for something I've done on a duck is me. My very first summer, I would fly down the ramp. I was hanging on to the steering wheel like this, and when we hit the water, the front tires hit so hard they jerked, and the spoke of the steering wheel hit my thumb and dislocated it. Ooh. And the entire trip, I was driving like this with my belly, talking to you, and when it finally popped back into place, I screamed and started to cry. And someone, Captain, are you okay? I went, there's the aquarium. It is so good. This is a great job. I've been down so, and I remember this trip like it was my last one. 3 years ago, 2020, I had a family of 8 from Mississippi, all sitting here. Grandmother was in her 70s on this side of the boat. Right here, I'm talking about life jackets again. She starts rocking back and forth, licking her lips, and she's doing this number. She looks bothered. And I said, ma'am, are you okay? And she goes, young man, when do we get off the truck and get on the boat? And I went,
you're on it.
Here, 5 seconds, you're on it. She didn't realize this was it. And when she learned the truck was the boat, she stood up and said, I'm getting off. And I was going, hang on, I'll put it in park. I was going to drop the ladder and have her wait on park bench. Her family talked her out of getting off the boat. She sat back down, and because of her, I rode. It took like 3 days to get down there. I was riding the brake so hard. I've been down backwards twice. I've done it, okay? Do y'all want to go fast or slow?
Fast.
Okay, when we hit the river, it's going to splash. The faster we go, the bigger the splash. If you get wet, consider yourself lucky because it's hot. You're going to get drops of water. But you don't have a seatbelt on. When we hit the water, even going slow, everyone leans forward. It's not enough to bang your head on the seat in front of you, but if you have something loose in your seat, like a purse or a camera, just hang on to the loose things. It'll slide out of your seat into the floor and roll up here by me, okay? Y'all ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. It floats! It floats!
Here we go!
Anybody get splashed? Anybody get splashed? No? You got splashed? No? Okay, that's not fair. Everybody got splash. Now you're on the boat. Welcome to the Tennessee River. Tennessee River is a very historic river. It's a long river. It starts about 110 miles in front of us, just above Knoxville, Tennessee. And really, the river is nothing except a big ditch for the Smoky Mountains. As the river comes from Knoxville to Chattanooga, it does the same thing any river does. It twists, it curves, passes Chattanooga, and about 75 miles behind us, the river heads off to the southwest and goes out into Alabama. It's almost to Huntsville, Alabama, does a U-turn, goes to a little bit of northeast Mississippi, back into Tennessee, out the western side of the state. And then in Kentucky, has anyone heard of a little town called Paducah, Kentucky? Okay, so right around Paducah, Kentucky, the Tennessee River joins the Ohio River, which runs west through Kentucky to the Mississippi River. It runs to Cairo, Illinois. And right there in Cairo, it meets Mississippi, which goes south to the Gulf of Mexico. If we were up in outer space, looking down at the Tennessee River, it looks like a 650-mile horseshoe, a big horseshoe. But if you just zoom in on a map really close and look at the river, the whole thing does this. It's a very crooked river. The Tennessee is the only river in the northern hemisphere that naturally flows north, east, south, and west. It's crooked. That is one of the biggest reasons why the river can flood so quickly, is because it's so crooked. The worst flood in Chattanooga's memory, 1867. Remember where the Reed House is, the haunted hotel? That's 9 blocks away. 1860. The Reed House opened its doors in 1872. The building that was there in 1867 was a 5-story hotel called the Crutchfield House. Today, in the lobby of the Reed House, there are photographs of the Crutchfield House when the river was touching the 3rd floor windows. 9 blocks away, downtown was 30 feet deep underwater. That was the worst flood in Chattanooga's memory. 1930, President Franklin Roosevelt needed to create jobs everywhere. And here in the Southeast, he did that by creating the Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA. First big job TVA had, control the floods of the river. From 1931 to 1939, TVA would build 9 big dams on the river to control floods. The 2 nearest dams to us, 8 miles in front of us, still in Chattanooga, is Chickamauga Dam. 45 miles behind us downriver in Nickajack, Tennessee, is Nickajack Dam. And whenever you build a dam on a river, it blocks the flow, forms a lake. We're in the Tennessee River. We're also in Nickajack Lake. Besides all that, we're also in federal waters. This is part of the intercoastal waterway, which means on this boat, right now, we keep going, and I can take you to Boston, Massachusetts. I don't want to do that. What I would rather do, we'll take the boat, we'll run up to Walmart, get some peanut butter and beer, get back in the river and go that way. And I will take you to New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'll do that in a heartbeat. I love New Orleans. Has anyone ever been to New Orleans? 4 of us, 5 of us. Has anyone ever been to Mardi Gras? I've been once. If you're going to go to me to Mardi Gras, I'm just going to go. Now, I'll get it up. Mardi Gras is in February. This is as fast as the duck can go. If you're going to go with me on this to Mardi Gras, make up your mind. We need to leave. Who wants to go to Mardi Gras? Woo! See? 4 women and 3 guys? Okay, look at that. Land on the starboard side, all of this is called Ross's Landing. We're going to the early 1800s. This was not a city. This was a little village on the banks of the river that catered to boats. Boats could stop for repairs, supplies. If we were going to Knoxville, Tennessee, about 100 miles away, depending on the weather and the current of the river, we were still 2 to 3 weeks away from Knoxville, which that might sound like a long time. Going that way, going downstream, the next place we can stop for repairs or supplies, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, 5 to 7 weeks away, depending on the weather. Going downriver, this was that proverbial last chance for gas stopping place. We'd stop here and tie up at the docks, and we'd all get off the boat. You see those porta-johns up there? To the left of the porta-johns, under the trees, you see that silver sign? That's a historical plaque, and that sign marks a spot where a Cherokee Indian had a grocery store. And we'd all go in that grocery store, and now you're tourists. To you, that's a Buc-ee's. I mean, you're buying junk food. You're buying a big old box of powdered donuts, 8 or 9 bags of beef jerky, Mountain Dews, Diet Dr. Pepper, bag of Pringles, can of Pringles. A bag of those, the Cheetos, not the crunchy ones, but the puffy ones. Getting that orange stuff all over your fingers. Someone bought some ice cream to bring back on the boat. It's going to melt all over the floor. I mean, you're just buying junk food. I am buying supplies for the boat. 12 dozen eggs, 10 pounds of coffee, 25 pounds of bacon, and flour. Once you walk out of the store, I leaned over to the counter to this Cherokee Indian. And I said, man, I sure hope you can help me, man. I'm on my way to Muscle Shoals, and I've got a fist-sized hole in the bottom of my boat. I'm taking on the water. You know anybody in town that can fix that while I'm here? And this Cherokee went, well, I got some guys who can fix it. You do? How much would you charge me? That's all. Here's the money. When's it going to be done? When's it going to be done? Do you see all them boats out there? It's going to take me 4 days just to get to you. Man. And he said, I bet you don't want your passengers on that boat as it's taking on water. You don't want it sinking out here right in front of town, do you? No. You know, there's a hotel about a block down the road. I could probably get you a discount if you want me. Man, yeah, hook me up. So he got me a discount. Guess who owned the hotel? He did. Guess who owned the saloon next to the hotel? He did. Now, I could end the story right there, and you might think this Cherokee Indian was a very greedy or shrewd businessman, which might be true. He was a chief of the Cherokee Nation. His name was Chief John Ross. And I know the name John Ross doesn't sound a bit like a Native American. Chief John Ross was 1/8 Cherokee, and everything else about him was Scottish. The name of his grocery store, Ross's Landing. On all maps and river charts, this whole area was labeled Ross's Landing because of him and his store. In 1839, the state of Tennessee made this a city. They let the locals pick the name, and for whatever reason, they didn't pick the name written down on the maps. They picked this Creek Indian word to name the city. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga. When you translate the word Chattanooga from Creek into English, it means rock rising to a point. Most people believe they were talking about Lookout Mountain when they named it Chattanooga. That is completely true. The rest of this story, I made up. Me and this guy right here were the 2 guys in town responsible for filling out the paperwork for the state government. So, you know, when the state was making the new maps, they knew how to label the city. And the day we keep the name in June of 1839, we had a party on the waterfront. Locals called it River Bend, which we still have. There were 4 or 5 stages set up. That's the first time me and you saw Hootie and the Blowfish. Allman Brothers.
No Darius.
R.E.M. And to make a little extra spending money, me and him had a booth set up selling barbecue. And that's the first time he met her. She wanted a rack of ribs, but she didn't have the money, so she traded us a quart of her Papa's moonshine for some ribs. And we started sipping on that moonshine. Then we met this guy from Dalton who brought a little bag of what he called oregano that he taught us how to roll up. Met that guy back there, he brought some of his famous mushrooms that he grows under his porch. Man, we started singing Snoop Dogg songs. Next day at work, me and you both were hungover, and I'm trying to fill up the paperwork for the government, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, I think I passed out last night. Hey, brother, you remember what word we picked for the city last night? And he goes, yeah, it was that Indian word, Chattanooga. And I went, that's right, Chattanooga. On this day of June of 1839, we picked the word No, that's not right. Hey, you know how to spell that? And he goes, yeah, I live in Cahutta. No one spells that right the first time. Chattanooga. C-H-A-T-T-Anooga. He misspelled the word Chattanooga. And the way we started to read it was Chattanooga. If it wasn't for the bad Tennessee public education system, we'd never have it. Chapter 7. There's 7 lights on the bridge come on sunset. 7 pipes in the water that used to be a really cool water fountain because the pumps got clogged up. City hadn't fixed it yet. 7 Cherokee on the wall playing the game. 7 stars on the wall symbolizing constellation 7 sisters. All across the Cherokee Nation, they had 7 clans. Now, to explain what a Cherokee clan is, I'm going to pull up here to the shade for just a second because it's hot. I am Walnut Street Bridge, built from 1881 to 1887, used as a road until 1976. The people that built the bridge, the labor, was the locals. The people that paid to have it built was the federal government. When the bridge finished, the government
been getting the bridge from the city of Chattanooga. City property. Guess who is in charge of the maintenance of that bridge? The city. Modern times, the city has the bridge has to be inspected every year by the DOT to make sure it's safe. And in 1976, the bridge failed inspection. The state told the city, close your bridge, fix it, let us know when you're done. We'll come back, re-inspect it, we'll get it open as soon as possible. So in 1976, Chattanooga put a concrete barricade across it and blocked it off. When the politicians learned how much it was going to cost to fix that bridge, let's put things in perspective. In 1976, the city of Chattanooga was that close to being bankrupt. Why? All the factories had left.
Yeah.
People moved away. So the city was losing money. They were laying off school teachers and firemen and police officers. When the politicians learned how much it was going to cost to fix the bridge, the politicians said, you know, there are 3 other bridges across the river in downtown. Everybody's moving. We don't need 4 bridges anymore. We could save a lot of money if we didn't fix it. They didn't. They left it closed. 1984, 8 years later, a tugboat was going up and down the river, and the tugboat captain happened to see a piece of the bridge break off, splash in the water. That captain does what he's supposed to do. He gets on his radio and notifies the Coast Guard of what he saw. The Coast Guard come to Chattanooga to investigate. When the Coast Guard learned that Chattanooga had not done any maintenance on city property that crosses federal waters, that made the Coast Guard mad. And they told the city of Chattanooga, that bridge was your responsibility. Spend the money and fix it. Or get your bridge out of our water. And the politicians in 1985 decided they still didn't need 4 bridges. It would cost less money to blow up. And they scheduled a day to blow it up. 3 steps is the average. Your buddy did 5 steps. Here he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Oh, he lost his beer. Lost his beer. Good try. So, let's get back on the story. 1985, the politicians decided to blow that bridge up. In 2017, there was a newspaper called USA Today, and there was a list in USA Today of the wealthiest cities in each state. Lookout Mountain is 79 miles long. Most of Lookout Mountain is in Alabama, about 30 miles in Georgia. There's only 2 miles of Lookout Mountain in Tennessee. 2. Has anyone been up to Lookout Mountain? Did you see the big houses? Yeah. Did you get lost? You did not see the big houses. You saw nice houses, but not the big ones. In 1899, there were 7 men from Lookout Mountain that got together and built a factory on the banks of the river. And in 1899, it was the first place in the world that put Coca-Cola in a bottle. They franchised the idea. By 2017, you could be in Moscow, Russia, buy a bottle of Coke that was bottled in Moscow, but some of that money came back to these 7 families in Chattanooga. In 2017, these 7 families sold 100% of the stock of the Coca-Cola bottling company to the drink company Coca-Cola in Atlanta. You can put any 4-letter word you want to the front of the bridge, and you're not close. In 1985, there were 3 women from Lookout Mountain who told families to call a politician and said, don't blow that bridge up. We'll pay for it. 3 women fixed the bridge. It reopened up in 92 as a sidewalk. If you've heard anyone talk about the walking bridge or the pedestrian bridge, that's it. Get on the bridge. We've been in the water. This island on the port side since 1956. This has become a McClellan Island. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you're from It doesn't matter if you're from Tennessee or Guatemala or California or in the mountains of Georgia. Every one of y'all had a place like this when you were younger. Not this young, okay? Let's pretend. How old are you? Let's pretend we're all 16 years old. We're in high school. It's Friday night. High school football. After the ball game, every one of us had that place that we'd go hang out with their friends or their dates where we did things.
Red Ronco.
Party Island. If you lived downtown in the 1800s, that's where you'd want to be on a Friday night. The kids splash down the river catching frogs, skipping stones. Me and him's barbecuing. You brought a fiddle somewhere. You brought some tequila. Man, we had a big time. People loved hanging out until the late 1880s, 1890s. In 1891, Robert and Claire McClellan had immigrated from Scotland to Chattanooga. And they started building this big house right here, this big cream-colored house with that one chimney. Now today, that big house is a bed and breakfast. It's called the Front View Inn. It's expensive, but it is a great bed and breakfast. The day the McClellan's moved into that house in 1892, they loved the house. They hated living there for one reason. Party Island. By this point in Chattanooga's history, almost every rich person downtown had moved. If you had the money and could afford it, would you choose to live on the water somewhere? Yes. Same was true back then. That neighborhood behind us is called Battery Place. In the 1880s, that was the richest neighborhood in Chattanooga. But back then, before TVA, this time of year, when it was hot, the water would be really low and stagnant. It would stink. The mosquitoes were the biggest concern. If you had the money, but you did not want to live on the water, where else might you want to live? On a mountain. And all those rich folks moved to Lookout Mountain. The only time the McClellans would see their rich friends was at church. And Sundays after church, she'd invite her friends over to lunch. And up there on the back porch, these rich women with big floppy hats and the high heels, and all the yappy dogs at the purse, and all of us over here doing this. Minding our own business. Hooting and hollering, drinking moonshine, fiddles and banjos, people skinny dipping in broad daylight. Embarrassed her in front of her friends. Now, do you want to see what's wrong with this country? Because of the constant floods, he gave up doing anything. They let the trees put back on it. 1956, the McClellan Foundation gave the island to the Chattanooga Audubon Society. It's a park. You can go anytime you want to. Trails, picnic tables. You gotta have your own way to get there. A boat, canoe, kayak, something. But you can go anytime you want to. If you want to go while you're here, most of those folks that we saw on that slack line, they're locals, and they don't own any of that stuff. They got right over here. All of these folks. There's a business at the foot of the bridge that rents paddleboards and canoes and kayaks. So if you want to go over there and hang out with those millennials and walk on that tightrope thing, you would fit in. You look like a millennial. You can rent stuff and go over there. Good job, Captain Luna. Hop on up. Awesome job. We're good. Watch your step. Does she want to go? Me and my wife made 2 offers on that $18,000 house in 1993. Neither one were accepted.
Yeah,
we had sold the house way up. We were closing and had to find someplace to live. I was also a scuba diving instructor. And we found the boat for sale in Destin, Florida. That's when we moved to Destin. Taking people scuba diving and snorkeling. Until 2004, when Hurricane Ivan destroyed the boat. And I said, I'm done with hurricanes. We moved back home to Chattanooga. That's the first part of town we looked at. And I went, my word, what happened? He bought that house for $18,000. And him and his son fixed it up and put it for sale by owner sign and flipped it for $450,000. When we got back to Chattanooga in 2004, besides Lookout Mountain, that was the most expensive part of Chattanooga. And if you ask the people that live over there today where they live, nobody says Mill City, nobody says North Chattanooga. They look at you and their nose is pointing up at the end and they go, we bought a place on the North Shore.
Yes.
Yuppie. Good job, Captain. And away we go. It's a truck. If you ever had to drive an old 4-wheel drive truck, to get it out of 4-wheel drive, you got to take pressure off the transfer case. You do that by backing up a little bit, and then it should go back to 2-wheel drive pretty easily like that, and then you wait for traffic.
You're not going to unlock the hood?
You don't have to unlock anything. Very simple. Now, what's really neat about this thing was in 1941, the United States Army went to a yacht builder in San Diego, California, and said, we need you to come to Detroit and turn something into an amphibious truck. So he got the plans, this guy named Rod Stevenson got the plans for the truck, and within 28 days had a truck in the water. Wow. 28 days. To me, when you look at the history of Rod Stevenson and the manufacturing of this, it really is amazing how fast they did it. Of course, it was the greatest generation during World War II, so you had to do things fast. And we're back. Once we get over here under the bridge and stop, just stay in your seats. I've got to get back there and drop the stairs down. When you get off the dock, if you have any questions, need directions getting around, or just need some restaurant recommendations, ask, and I'll be glad to help you out any way I can. Guys, on behalf of the Chattanooga Ducks, my name is Gary. Thank you so much. Go find some air conditioning or something to drink. Enjoy your stay in town and be careful going home. Thanks for coming, guys.
All right, thank
Woo!
Thank you. Yeah. That's great. Good job.
Yay! So this is what the cockpit looked like for all the guest drivers. So the old controls on this thing. Maybe I'll just bring my family here next time and I could maybe give it a try driving, but I documented this adventure. Hey, you think I should go ahead and quit the YouTube gig and become a duck tour guide? This would be pretty cool to do. Alright, just got off the Chattanooga duck tour. That was a blast. Barry was such a fun tour guide. Yeah, sorry, I thought I was going to go on the Daffy Duck, but it ended up being Sergeant York. And that is pretty cool, but awesome to have Barry as the tour guide. But man, we're going to make our way back to the Chattanooga riverboat, the Southern Belle's Landing. As you guys probably saw in my video, you could see the one of the original Southern Belle boats that you normally would ride on, but this is the one you don't ride on. This one has like the shops and restaurants in this one. So why don't we go ahead and check out the gift shop inside. So let's go ahead and check out the inside of the Southern Belle. Just check out the gift shop portion at least. I'm debating on either getting something to eat here or go somewhere else to celebrate the anniversary occasion. Let's go ahead and have a little fun inside for a second. Get out of this hot air, but kind of feel the breeze coming in a little bit. Haven't felt a good summer breeze in quite a while. It's been so stinking hot lately. It feels right where I'm at. Feels great. Okay, enough talking. Let's go inside. Greeted by the chef here. Come on in, we're open. Ahoy there, sailor. I'm gonna kind of make our way inside and let's check out the gifts. It's getting very close to sweater weather, even though we're celebrating fall a little early, but very soon when things kind of drop its temperature. Got the long sleeve shirts and the captain's hats. We got away. Got some pictures here. Look at this one right here. $100 of the Scenic Center. Look at that. The Scenic Center from Lookout Mountain. Look at that. That guy looks like he's really enjoying. That's definitely a barbecue sandwich he's eating. Look like a kind of a brisket kind of ordeal. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was actor Frankie Muniz. Unless that could be, I don't know. 21st Century Waterfront Grand Opening, Spring 2005, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And where y'all from? So I don't have my pin with me, but it does not matter because it looks like the Dalton area is covered right there. Whereas there's Chicagoland. So it's like every one of the states I lived in, somebody from it that represented the state has come to visit here. That's pretty cool. Seems like they really like to get pictures of people eating barbecue sandwiches. I'm gonna check out these magnetic stones. I don't know how much you could, probably a whole bag full actually. So a whole bag full of stones, $10. I remember seeing these at Ruby Falls. Look at that. That's fun. Oh, look at that. I don't have my wedding ring on today. I could probably just get that and replace my wedding ring. I work a factory job, so that's why I don't really wear my wedding ring very much in public. Maybe I should get a tattoo. Or I should just buy the magnetic stones. And check this out. The Duck Commander duck calls are actually sold here. If you guys are not familiar with the Duck Commander, that is with those Duck Dynasty guys, that family of men with the big beards that owned the Duck Commander store. And they had a reality TV show. I'm not sure it's still going on or not, but it went on for quite a while. And I think my parents actually were avid viewers of the show. And I remember a buddy of mine, well, a group of my friends came to visit me years ago, way before I was a YouTuber. And they're driving through Louisiana, and they just had to stop at the Duck Commander to buy a authentic duck call. Look at that. Got ourselves a baskets full of captain hats here. Ahoy, sailor! Over here, JoJo's Coffee and Brew here. I believe I had a cup of coffee here last time I was here, a long time ago with Lindsay. They're closed today. There's a little quaint little coffee shop. I remember it being pretty decent coffee. But we all know it's very peaceful because of the Buddha. There's a lot of steamboat history to cover throughout this part of town. I don't know where the coordinates are at, but right outside Chattanooga there is remnants of a sunken steamboat somewhere. I kind of would like to do some research on that project someday, but I know that there is definitely some sunken ships on this side of town, somewhere in the river basin. So we'll have to do that sometime. Let's go ahead and make our way upstairs. I think to the restaurant's up here. Inside the Overboard Bar and Grill up here. And I don't think we're allowed to go up anywhere higher than this, but we kind of make our way over here. Kind of check out from the aerial point of view. Got a little active bar here, some TVs going on. Kind of the overlook here. To enjoy the looks of the Tennessee River, and there's some kayakers. Oh, hey, look, we found one of these things at the Sweet Spot in Dalton. Let's see if I can do this again. Oh. All right, try again. Oh, too short. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Now you gotta appreciate this chandelier right here. That is a really nice looking chandelier. Wonder how old that is. That's gotta be, gosh, I don't know. That's definitely a very old chandelier, but really pretty. The tabletop shuffleboard that they have above here. Now you can play at Clyde's as well. Better look at the chandelier here. Hey, check it out. The Chicago Bears are playing against the Buffalo Bills, and as a former, I guess I still do occasionally cheer for the Bears still, but I'm not really into football as I used to be, but it is no surprise that the Bears are losing. Some traditional dartboard up here. That's pretty cool. Ourselves some pool, classic arcade games, and foosball. I make our way out of the boat real quickly. There's good old Moon Pies, because you know that Moon Pie is from Chattanooga, and I've actually went by the Moon Pie store one time. You gotta check that out. You gotta get your drinks on here, and then you make your way out that way. But we could come back when I know for a fact I'm gonna go ride the boat, and maybe we'll get ourselves like a burger and a beer here to just kind of enjoy the inside of this historic boat. And just in case you miss your loved ones, you can send them a postcard of the boats or the Incline Railway or Ruby Falls, yeah. Well, it is tradition to kind of collect some things as I go along my adventures. A lot of these here are like definitely themed toward the boats. But we went on a duck ride, so it's only appropriate if I purchase one of these to go toward my magnet collection. And then when I come back to go on an actual boat ride, I'll probably purchase this one here. I know I could buy that one anytime. That's just a generic Chattanooga one. Oh, this might be a good one. I don't know. Should I buy both? Because that would be pretty cool too. But anyway, when I come back, I'm going to have to purchase the Chattanooga Riverboat one next time I'm here to ride the Southern Belle. And I was thrown off by this one. Don't touch my goo-goo. Then I find out it's goo-goo clusters from Nashville, Tennessee. All the time you postcards. That's cool. So I just purchased my fridge magnets. I decided to buy both of them because I wanted one for the channel, but there's one with the little ducks on it, and my son's obsessed with rubber duckies. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy both because one's going to be for my boy. I'll kind of show it to you guys at the end. But look at this. We got a gray heron just chilling here. You want to go on a little boat ride, Mr. Gray Heron? Look at that. Beautiful bird. And that, my friends, was the duck tours that we experienced here in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. That was a lot of fun. Barry was a great tour guide, full of energy, full of life. And definitely want to look out for Captain Barry if you decide to go on these tours. But I'm sure the other tour guide is great. You can definitely check it out. Just look up Chattanooga Ducks. I'll leave in a link in the description below. But I thought I could go ahead and continue the vlog on, but considering I covered enough ground on the kind of getting things started and the boat tour and inside the Southern Belle, I decided, you know what, how about I go ahead and make a part 2 for next week since I'm already here, and we'll just kind of break it off. So we're going to, next week, we'll make our way and just enjoy a little bit of downtown exploration, if that's what the case will be next week, but kind of the top 2 things we'll do next week. Well, my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular vlog. Get a little shot at the Southern Belle again. There we go. If you guys enjoyed yourselves, be sure you like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. Eat well and keep your mind walking. See you guys next week for another Chattanooga adventure. Hopefully next time I'm going to do another duck tour, I get to ride Daffy Duck. Here are the 2 fridge magnets I ended up purchasing. Kind of saw earlier in the video, but I was just hoping just to buy one and done in that one, but then I kind of thought, you know what, my son is obsessed with rubber duckies since I went on a duck ride, so I decided, you know what the hey, I'll buy both. Well, it looks like the Southern Belle's actually taking off. Trying to get a good look, get past this tree here as it leaves the port. There we go. There it is. The Southern Belle boat right over here. One day we shall ride that boat for the channel. There it goes.